Hi, everybody. I have my phone connected to the steering, or just sitting on the steering wheel. I was watching a couple of videos before I deleted them off that I posted, showing up my eyes and, um, images on my chest and on my hand. Um, the things that have been happening to me, right? My journey, my experience. I've even told you my visions and dreams that I've had and stuff like that, which I think it's very fascinating that we should be doing this. Um, because not only am I writing it down, but I'm putting it out online. Um, because I'm sure there's others out there that have have had something similar, or um, either mentally forgot about it because they didn't understand it or blocked it out. Maybe this is a way of opening up that door. I don't know, but anyway, how are you guys doing? It's Saturday, and it's fun to get out of the house. The neighbors, the neighbor kids rolling stuff across the floors. Plus, I've been kind of tossing and turning the last couple of days. I know I've been dreaming about something, but by the time I wake up, um, I can't remember. And then when I do try to remember, it's like I can't. It's like that part's closed off or something. And I kind of get a little frustrated, like, why can't I remember? Which is kind of unusual because I usually, even in a dream, I'll remember a part of it when I wake up. Um, but these last couple of days, I know I was dreaming about something, tossing and turning, and I wake up, and all of a sudden, it just be gone. It's like, what was I just dreaming about? So maybe I'm not supposed to bring it into this reality or remember it right now. Could possibly be anything. You Look at everything, but it started out really cloudy today. Um, it rained yesterday morning, but then cleared out by 11. It was like 81 or 82 by 11. But I think it got only as high as 86 or 87 all day. And today, it didn't. The sun didn't start, or the clouds didn't break away until about 1:30, quarter to 2, and then it got up to or just all of a sudden, instantly, like 85, 86 degrees. But now there's still clouds because you can kind of see the dimness of the light in the air, but it's hot. It's like 80. It's 86 right now, and it's about, I think, about 3 o'clock or something like that. I don't know. I haven't really been focusing that much on time right now. So what have you guys been doing? I know I kind of zoned out there. I zoned out because I was thinking, what am I going to think of? What am I going to say? Because I find that even the images on my forehead, and on my nose, um, just from documenting the last couple of years. I remember there's videos I've taken down and kind of reset the page. But I still have them on file on my computer, and I'm just going back looking at them. I remember day before yesterday, the video, I was looking at my nose really closely, and there's that red line, red veins, a couple of them there, and how the red veins were only so far down, and now they're all the way down. So again, it's all about these. It's like my blood vessels are being helped to use to make designs or images. Maybe that's why my face kind of twitches at night. I kind of get that, which I kind of notice is how dogs and cats do. You know how they always constantly go around. But the side of my face, I kind of twitched just a little bit. I think I told you guys in a video a long time ago, but I might have taken it down. It was about a couple of years ago. I think it's 2017. I started doing it, and when I was meditating, and I was like trying to control it, thinking, "What is going on?" And it just wouldn't. It was like I was spending more time trying to control it instead of just allowing it. And finally, I just started allowing it. You know, it wouldn't go on for very long. It just, it's kind of like this is what I was thinking during my meditation. Do you know the telegraph wires, like the Carrington event? They had that tapping wires, or what they use out on the ship. You know, that type of telegraph wire or whatever. It was like when I should start using that word, like the feeling was as if every time that I would get that twitch, it was like a letter or something was being pressed. That's what I was actually seeing in my mind's eye. I was like, oh, how cool. I wonder, because our mind's eye, our dragon brain, is the central control center. This is the Last Supper table. Our ears, where the frequency comes in, and to the top of our cone of our head. And then it comes up to our heart too. So, and then, I know a lot of people haven't kind of looked at this, but when you think about Michael Nostradamus, Nostra is nostril, Nostra. Have you ever seen Nostradamus's nose? It's it's kind of big like mine. And then when I was showing you the image of Jesus on my chest, if you look at Jesus's nose closely on my chest, he's also got a kind of a big nose like me as well. And I think our noses represent French. I think it's French. Don't quote me on that, but I just sense something about how French have that kind of big nose. And when I look at my brothers, and my dad didn't have a big nose. Near my mom, I don't believe she did. She had her nose broken. I know that. But I think I'm the only one in the family's got a kind of a big nose. And I remember growing up in grade school and high school that kids would pick on me because my nose was big and my ears were big. And then through high school, my first lover did that to me as well, because he couldn't find anything to yell at me for. And he's like, well, you got a big nose and big ears. And at first it started hurting my feelings, but then I'm like thinking, I've always been told I got a big nose and big ears since I was grade school. So that didn't affect me anymore. And when you come to realize things, that why am I getting upset? I think I got upset just because he was trying to be insulting and purposely hurtful. But as soon as he found out it didn't hurt me anymore, that just made me more furious. That's when I started really smartening up that he's a narcissist, and there's no making them happy, when they're mad and you take away their mad. So, they don't have control over you. I had to learn that. That's one of those things about life where it's about experience points. It's you got to go through it. You got to experience it. You got to feel it. You got to break away from it. And you got to try to break away as positive and happy, because I know I made a difference in his life, because I left him like a hot potato. Really, I did. he went to work. I called my brother the night before. I asked him if he'd come down and drive with me back home. And he was all excited. He's like, "Oh, I've never flown on a plane before. I'll fly down there." And he did so. He flew down the next day, and I picked him up and dropped him. We come to my apartment, the house I was at. We loaded up my truck. I told the landlord, because I wasn't on the lease, I was just marked there as being there. And because he made more money, he was a senior probation officer. And he, so she's like, "Oh, don't worry, you're not on the lease." I'm like, "Hey, see ya, nice meeting you." Blah, blah, really nice lady. Took off and went home, and he tracked me down. That's one thing about him and his job. He can track me down anywhere I was. And he did. He tracked me down for 7 years after that. Every year he'd call me and find me. I'm like, "How'd you find me?" "I work for the state. I have access to everything. I know exactly where you're at all times." I'm like, "Oh, that's just pleasant." So, you can kind of see that, and he's been in all these other relationships, but it was just interesting that he was upset that I left, but there was no other way that I could have left, because I tried leaving before, and he held me down, and, he just refused, and he used his power as being, with the police force, the state force. And as soon as I started realizing how he can track me down anywhere, that just, I was like, I got to be smart about this, So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard from him for actually the last 3 years. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. It just stopped. I was like, because I was expecting some type of phone call, and it's usually during the holidays of Christmas time, Thanksgiving or Christmas. And it just stopped. And he was, even through the last years I was talking to him, he was just miserable. He retired. He was hooked on meth, seriously hooked on meth. And he's like 11 years older than I am. So I just turned 58, so 11 years old. So he was like in his 60s and stuff, doing all that stuff and living the party life and he liked young kids, young boys like in their 20s and 25. And of course, I looked a little bit younger when I was dating. I was in my 30s or something. But that was 2 years that I learned a lot. I learned about being in a relationship with someone in law enforcement and how crooked they can be, and liars, which I'm sure there's not a lot of them out there that are, but I got to looking at it. It's not really that. It's anybody that's in power. So anybody that has power over another, there's just, I think that's like, when like the darkness, the Lucifer, the evil inside of us, the ego side, and then the Jesus side is our right side, right? So it's like that rises, that ego, that power. It's like, oh, I have power over another. Because when I was in manager's positions, most of my life and almost every job that I was in, I was a leader. In one of my last jobs, my management department, all the other managers around it were just so upset with me. They couldn't handle me. And I couldn't work with them because I was getting downgraded on my reports, because I was taught in the military to a leader leads their people. They teach them, safety. They teach them. So a leader is in the front of the pack, leading, right? So it's like I would be, let's say, an image where I'm holding this rope and I'm at the beginning, and then my team, my workforce is behind me, right? So I'm leading, but the managers have their system, and how they have it set up in the company is to where You are behind them, and the team is leading you. Kind of like you're either on top or below on the backside, as the team is going ahead of you. It'd be like a king or something, where they send out the army first and the king's in the back. But there's some shows out there where they show the king going straight ahead as first, right, leading into the battle. But that's the way I was raised, and that's how I was teaching, and I was very successful in everything, and all the employees liked me and stuff. I had up to 80 employees writing out their schedules, doing their resumes, all those, and I enjoyed all of it. But I was clashing with management because I shouldn't be doing that. I should be dedicating that to others, which I did. I started dedicating to others, but then their workload got so much because when you do that to a big team, it's like you start taking away and robbing from them. And the reason why I looked at it in their eyes is because all the other managers was just sitting in the office, just with their feet up, talking. That was their way of saying, I'm in charge. They'll come to me if they need anything. And I was the one who was out there. So, but, there's always something about, leadership. And I think that helps too, because that takes away from ego, or that balances ego out. Because if your egos and your heart are both working together as one and going straight forward right in your neutral zone, and you're leading and you're pulling the team, and they're following you, they're going to work harder for you, right? Because they got your back. So, here's another thing. Speaking of got your back, so we got the 12 tarot card, or the 12 tribes, right? Where it's the hangman. The hangman, which is the 12th card. So 1 + 2 is 3. The third letter is gamma. Remember, the gamma sign in Greek looks like a lampstand, or it looks like a hangman stand, right? So I don't know if you played that game called Hangman, but you pull up this, you make a little stand on the bottom, and you have this stand pole that goes up and another pole that comes down, and then you start drawing the hangman, right? So that's the 12th card. So 1 + 2 is 3, so the third letter is gamma. It's supposed to be representing a lampstand. So you got Hebrew, which is the reverse of it, and then you got Greek, which is the lampstand and goes this way. But either way, it's represented being you're hanging from a tree. So those are the 12 tribes. And then you got the 0 and the 22nd card, which is the Fool card, right? The Fool means taking a leap of faith, like in Indiana Jones, I think in The Last Crusade or something like that, when they're going to look for the goblet, for, the eternal life, that thing. And he had to, there was like that cliff, and he had to take a leap of faith, right? He had to believe and take that first step, because it didn't look like there's any step there at all, until he figured that, he steps down and he takes some dust and he scatters it, and it shows this walkway going from one cliff to the next cliff. So it's called the leap of faith. That's why when I was talking about my eyes and stuff, I didn't want him to work on it. It's just like, no, I've got to not worry and put myself in fear and just take a leap of faith, because it's not really bothering my vision. I can still see and read perfectly well. It's just that there's something new that's happening. So instead of freaking out and going to, like on Star Trek 4, where Doc Bones, when they go back in time, they're all like cutting people open and stuff. He goes, "How barbaric can you be, man?" Well, how do you say, "My God, man, you guys are so barbaric"? And he puts that device on it. It's an electronic device, which I started thinking about that. it's an electronic device that goes and clips on from temple to temple across the forehead, and it's got these lights going on, but it's a frequency, it's a sound, it's a frequency. And I was like thinking, even Spock, right, he goes up here, he does this hand thing, is connecting to the brains, the three brains, right? It's sound, it's frequency. And they already got medical beds out, and they're healing people over sound and frequency, because the atom, the atomic molecule, the atom that we are, thrives on frequency, right? And certain frequencies kill cancers and stuff like that. So, and I think that's another thing about, we resonate at 7.883 hertz, by keeping our body, eating the right foods and stuff. But anyway, kind of got a little topic there from everywhere, because I was just thinking of stuff. But again, it's like, I don't know what the new creation is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to come out. But I know that I don't trust medical to tell me, especially when I went in there for that ear. I couldn't hear, and I found out that I had allergies. And so the allergies just swelled up some type of muscle or something that went up to this part of my ear, and it was swelling up right there. So it was blocking the sound of my ear going in and out. And then when I had to go see my doctor so I can get a referral, he looked in my ear and he goes, "Well, it's not plugged or anything." I'm like, okay. And he goes, "It must be shingles." I look at him like, "You got to be kidding me." I said, "It's not even an outbreak." "Oh, yeah." I just look at him. That's like thinking, oh my gosh, you're such a quack. Maybe that's why in that Economist magazine that I showed you, where it was showing the 7 plagues and these 7 scenes that are in there. And that's why I was thinking, there's like 3 geese or 3 ducks that are on the wall as well. And I got to thinking, I wonder if those 3 ducks are meaning quack, 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 the World Health, because it's right. So here's the plaque of the 7 plagues, and then here's the 3 ducks. And I got to thinking, I wonder if the ducks are representing quacks, right? Because that's, what they call doctors, bunch of quacks. Overpaid quacks. Following the script as well. That's another thing. If everything's, since we kind of know everything is scripted, and I wonder, even the things that we, like me carrying on right now, going on, just things that are coming to my mind, I wonder if this is somehow what I'm saying and doing has already been scripted, and unconsciously I'm playing out the script. My body's being scripted. I'm playing this role. It's like in that movie Legion, right, where Gabriel comes down, right, and he's trying to save the last child, and he passes on his messages and clues to that guy. So it was all these drawings and images that were on Archangel Gabriel, and they were being passed off of Archangel Gabriel onto that guy. So that guy started having all these images unfolding out all over his body. And he's like, how am I supposed to read this? Within time, you will know. So I think that's where, these are just kind of like all these drawings and stuff that are happening and through my eyes. It's like they're messages that you will know. So I'm hoping I'm kind of knowing or expressing that through my natural self, or being my natural self, and just talking and expressing it and investigating things and talking about it. Um, Not even scripted. And then when it is scripted, I'm kind of just like drawing it down and writing it on the pad or whatever and showing it. Because, you know, where's that one? I just like to show the color for one. About the trumpet horns and stuff like that. I wonder if you can see. Because I think it's very, very cool that we can do, that we should show through color schemes. Because it probably activates people's mind's eye. It activates, like, the trumpets, the 7 trumpets. Oh, 7 different colors of trumpets to some people, or the 7 candlesticks, where the church has them as 7 white candlesticks when there's 7 rainbow colored candlesticks. They're, different frequencies or different purposes. But I've been talking for about 26 minutes, so I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And I just wanted to come down to the park. It's been Saturday. I was going to go for a walk, and I thought, no, Saturday, sit around, maybe go home, fix a sandwich, and find a movie. But there's a lot of people I just noticed through the rearview mirror at the park. I like to people watch, so maybe I will take a walk through the park. Have a wonderful day.